My name is Max Dreyer, and I was asked by my mom, who works at the museum, to make a quilt square for our family. And so we kind of had a small brainstorming session at our annual trip to the Iowa State Fair to discuss what's kind of important to our family, what's a marker for our family. And we came up with our house that we've lived in for 29 years, so essentially my whole life. And obviously our wind turbine at the top of the hill outside Kimballton. And what else would be some of the more important things would be our cats. Each of us kids have at least one cat. I have 5. So here's Bumble, Rumble, Pepe, Spegs, Mr., Olathe, and Mo. And this is our small 7-person family unit. Dad, Mom, me, my wife Sylvia, my sister Ellen, my brother Sam, and his wife Emily. And another important thing would be the tomatoes for my mom's garden that we remember so fondly growing up.
Hi, my name is Mary. I participated in the quilt. This is based upon my fiance's grandfather's journey from Denmark to the United States. It came about that I learned about this through VIP at our local library. I am not an artist, so Beth, who is also in our group, she did the artistry for me, and then I embroidered it. But it tells that Chris Olsen came from Denmark across the ocean to the United States. From New York, he traveled across the United States to Iowa, where he became a farmer. And that's where his family has settled down there in the Exira-Audubon area. I don't know what else to tell you. That's just kind of the story. They brought in an example of the storytelling quilt. So I did a lot of research on storytelling, quilting stitches. And this one I did numerous times trying to imitate one of their stitches, but it's not something you learn real quick. So I ended up tearing it out. And I just kind of went back to basic embroidery to get the quilt done. My first instinct when I heard about it was my family came across Iowa, one of the first, well, in fact, the very first Mormon wagon train that come across. And then as I thought about it, I'm like, no, because that's central Iowa across, that's not really southwest. And so then it was like, oh, I got to tell Grandpa Olson's story. Well, it was exciting to do something different out of the norm. And I had not heard, okay, we all see the wedding ring quilts and all of those, but I had not seen one that actually you could look and visually see the story as it happened. So, and especially not on just one quilt. We covered thousands of miles.
My name's Emily Bricker. I'm 17 years old, and my story quilt was kind of the things that I love to do and I personally look forward to in the year. So like speech and theater is a huge hobby for me. I love Halloween because it's a great time to be with friends, and a lot of my favorite activities are in the fall, specifically around Halloween time. I love watching movies, reading books, playing video games. It's another great way to spend my time and hang out with friends. And then I also thought oceans are cool. It's a great place to be, and I really think it's underrated, and a lot of marine life is kind of unnoticed in our life.
No, I'm 4. I was just thinking about this to draw a racetrack and a bird. What do you think to draw a racetrack like me and a kite and race cars and no bridge right here so the cars can't get through. Where's the boat?
I don't know. What do you think looks like a boat?
That?
Maybe. That says bird, though. That's his drawing of a bird.
I like the race cars.
Yeah.
They're the fastest. This one has trophies on it. Did you know new cars can do a wheelie?
I did. Especially Lightning McQueen, he's fast.
Yeah, and this car's fast too. My name is Maddie and I'm 6 years old, and I drew a rainbow with hearts and a flower, and it was from kindergarten. And I drew hearts and my name, and I wrote the rainbow, and these are clouds, and then this is some grass I drew in kindergarten, and all of these are all my things that I drew. I drew hearts with orange and red, and this is grass, and I drew one heart here, and I have a heart right here, and right here is red, but it was supposed to be pink. And right here is a flower, and a X, and some of those are vines.
Hi, my name is Wanda Sorensen. I live in Elk Horn, Iowa. This quilt block is the story of my dad's life from the time that he was born in Jorup, Denmark. This is the church he was baptized in. He immigrated to the United States in 1913. This is the ship Helig Olav that he came on. This is his record as he passed through Ellis Island. This is a picture of him in his World War I uniform. He fought for the United States and was sent to France. This is the marriage of my dad and my mother in 1926. This is a picture of the Audubon Courthouse where my dad was employed as the custodian from the time it was built until they told him he had to retire when he was 75. And this is the cemetery in Audubon, Iowa, where he and my mother are buried. I decided to participate in this story cloth quilt because I wanted to tell the story of my father's immigration from Denmark, and it's the main story of my life. And I work at the genealogy center in Elk Horn from the Danish Museum, and I just wanted his story to be part of this story quilt.
Yeah, we're the Pinnacle Club of Elk Horn, and we can always use new help and people to play. We know a lot of people that have told us that they played, but for some reason they don't want to come in here. One fellow, his wife is not in very good shape, and he'd love to be here, but he's taking help take care of her. And we've had it in the paper and so forth that we'd like new members. But
there's no money exchange. We just play for fun.
yeah. We meet here twice a week from 12:30 until 4:30 in the afternoon, and we have our coffee and treats in between. And this has been going on since long before I started, and I'm the senior here now of this bunch, but we started over in the city hall or town hall, and I think probably you could say it's been going on for at least 25 to 30 years, and it's just good fellowship. we have a lot of belly laughs, and if somebody makes a mistake, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
So, and Mr. and Mrs. John Haas.
Well,
and
he said
Dave
that
Thurston.
he said that he was the oldest, but he is the oldest
He's the oldest senior member here.
senior member.
But my name is Burl Doonan, so.
I'm only 95.
Yeah. John is 95, he just said. And I'm 90. And I'm really out of my place here because this was a guy's thing. But after Ronnie Peterson passed away, they needed somebody else, and I was bringing John over to play, so they wanted me to fill in, and I'm still here until another man shows up, and I will just disappear. But it's a lot of fun, just a lot of fun.
I'm the new person around here. We've only lived here,
6 years, maybe 7.
yeah, somewhere in there.
Uh-huh.
I moved here in 13, no, about 10 years. Anyway, I jumped into a bunch with about 6 of us playing, and we've slowly but surely got down to where we're at now. And without Hertha here, we have one other that's sick now, so we're not now.
That's right.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
So we play. It takes at least 4 people to play. Well, you could actually we can get down to 3 people, but then with double deck it's pretty difficult. So just we play it around 2 times a week.
Nobody cheats.
We don't play cheater here. We do at home when we play cards. We always play cheater.
My name is Carla and I'm 5 years old. This one I drew a puddle that was different colors. That one I drew a big forest lava so we can play in it. This area right here I drew a outside playing area and some flowers right here. And then right here I drew some different kind of dots and hearts around, and over up here is the same stuff what I wanted to do about.
My name's Ireland. I'm 16 years old and I did this story cloth quilt. I did a different take on it, and I basically did all of my favorite things in more of an about me section. I talked about my favorite food, how I've been in dance for 14 years now, my favorite animal, my favorite class, and my favorite thing to do, which is going shopping.
I'm Jackson and I'm 9 years old, and I can't really remember what I was thinking when I made my quilt, but these angels here represent past family members that passed. And then these dinosaurs are just my favorite animal. I love dinosaurs. And every Sunday I go to church. One of them represents my uncle. And this one represents the church. My favorite part was picking out these things. That's my favorite part about it.
My name is Emma and I'm 10 years old. Me and my friend Mary chose these buttons because we both like Winnie the Pooh and we thought it would be fun to do.
My name is Mary and I'm 10 years old, and I did this part of the quilt with my best friend Emma, and I'm going to tell you the story of how me and Emma met. So I was in kindergarten when I met Emma, and it was Emma's first day at school. And when I started school, for my 2 years of preschool, I was in the Elk Horn school. So this is my first time with a whole bunch of other kindergartners at the Exira school. So I got to see Emma, and I didn't know that she was exactly new there. But she was curled up in a ball, and I just walked up to her and said, "Hi, my name's Mary. Want to be friends?" And she said, "Sure." So from that day on, we've gotten better and better, and we've had our ups and downs. And I'll say that many times. But like from this quote, you could tell that we've decided on stuff very equally. We went with Disney characters because we both really love Disney. So like we have Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Eeyore and Piglet, and then the fish from Little Mermaid. But what mine says is Mary, and my favorite color is pink. I don't have any pink on, but I usually would wear pink. My favorite animal is guinea pigs, or I would say tigers. But I really like guinea pigs. I have two of my own named Peppa and Daisy. Peppa, I did fair with her this year, and I got junior grand champion. Wait, no, not junior grand champion. Reserved grand champion. Oops. But it just made my heart warm to have guinea pigs. They're really sweet, and they're easy to take care of. And I'm in dance, and last year I was in the Nutcracker. This year I didn't, but in the Nutcracker I was a mouse, and that was one of the longest roles I've ever been in, and it was really fun. A funny story about that is we had to carry the dead mouse off stage. It's not a real dead mouse. It's just another human that pretended to be a dead mouse, and my partner was supposed to help me carry her off stage. My partner wasn't there, so on my first day ever doing the Nutcracker in front of a big audience, I had to pull that person off all by myself. We had a little trouble trying not to laugh, but it was really fun. And then for the next two other shows, I had to do that too. But it was really fun. And I made a lot of new friends, though it was clear up in Des Moines. I really enjoyed it. So me and Emma worked on this together, and we made a lot of decisions on how we should put the quilt, how we should make it look. Although we didn't really talk about all the hearts and everything, we still did a lot of progress, and we talked about we told each other what we were going to put on our side to kind of make sure that we don't say the same things. So I'm really glad that I got to work on this one with my best friends, and I'm glad that it's just really detailed, I feel like, and I love it. So that's my story of how I did this little area of mine with my friend Emma, and how we know each other and some stuff about me.
Hi, my name is Vera Peterson. I'm from Exira, Iowa, and I created the Outlook Study Club Square. Outlook Study Club meets on Mondays, September through May at the Elk Horn Public Library. It was established in 1940, and our symbol is the red rose, which is why I put that on there. Our motto is Women Striving to Make a Difference. And with that, we work really hard to make a difference in the community by giving to others and learning about different parts of our community and inviting people to speak. And we also made a big difference way back before my time. In 1949, 1951, they worked on building the Elk Horn Library. We also do the birthday calendars for town. We help with the Tivoli float for the library. We also have Optimist Fun Night. And we make sure to have book club. And so with that, we can have everyone share a different book that they're reading throughout the months that we meet. Thank you.
I'm Noah, and I'm 6 years old. It was about the Elk Horn School.
the Elk Horn School?
Yes.
What about it?
Me and Calvin were playing.
Is that who's in the picture? Is Calvin?
Yeah.
What were you playing?
Like we're in the gym playing like scooters or like whatever they're called. And
What's on top of the school, Noah?
a roof.
I'm sorry?
A roof.
No, up here. What's this?
Me.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
Oh, and then where's Calvin? And then who's the other kiddo?
I draw him a snake.
Drew a mistake.
Yep.
I'm Calvin and I'm 6 years old and I tried to draw the Spartan logo because I wanted to be proud of myself.
Well, my name's JC Carlisle. I'm 19 and what I put on my cloth was books, apples, and mistletoe. I put mistletoe because it reminds me of Christmas, which is my favorite holiday. And then I put books because growing up, books was my favorite activity thing to do, especially fantasy. Love fantasy. And then I also put apples because I really love fruits and vegetables, but apples is my favorite fruit.
I am Callista Frankenstein, and I am 13, and I participated to show off my amazing grandma. The story of my grandma, Nancy Watson. My grandma was born in Glidden, Iowa, the youngest of 10. She had 8 brothers and 1 sister. She went to Iowa State and started teaching in Elk Horn. She met my grandpa at church. Uncle Brett was born on a farm. 2 years later, they moved into town where my mom, Beth, was born. Grandpa became a teacher and coach. They are both retired. Us grandkids keep them very busy with Cool Kids Camp and cheering for us at our activities. Her top 10 are Iowa State, basketball, while watching us play basketball. She loves to sew. She also likes the Yankees. She likes to read, teach. She loves Hallmark Christmas movies. She plays the organ and piano at church, and she loves Elvis. And most of all, well, she likes to swim a lot, but most of all, she loves her grandkids.
I'm Anna Redsand, and my panel for the story quilt is the story about a journey, a life journey. I have moved 70 times in my life. Yes, and that's not an estimate. I actually counted, and I might have missed some. But anyway, obviously I couldn't put 70 things in my panel, so I picked sort of important ones and made a symbol of those. So I was born in Michigan, in the mitten part of the Michigan, and that's why there are mittens up here. And there's a little lake, which is Lake Michigan, which is not little. And when I was almost 4, we moved to the Navajo Nation, and we lived in Shiprock, and that's what this is. This is the monolith Shiprock, and we lived there less than a year, and then we moved to a place called Tisnazmas, and Tisnazmas means a circle of cottonwoods, and so these are cottonwoods in their glorious fall colors. And from there, when I was 8, I was sent to boarding school at Rehoboth Mission, and that's what this is. And that's the school I graduated from, class of 16. And then I went to the University of New Mexico, which is in Albuquerque. And Albuquerque has sort of, by default, been a place I moved back and forth from many times in my life, even though I don't like Albuquerque pretty much at all. But I have friends there. So from there, the San Francisco Bay Area, so this is the Bay Bridge with beautiful lavender clouds under it. And from there to Copenhagen, this is one of the iconic views of Copenhagen, Newhouten, and then New Zealand, which this is the land we lived in, which was kind of like a bowl, a very green bowl. And from there to Cuba, New Mexico, and this is the Nacimiento Mountains with the aspens kind of spilling down the canyons. And then I wrote a book that is called To Drink from the Silver Cup, and that's what this represents. And I went on a book tour and lived on the road, which doesn't count among my 70 moves. And the last place I landed is here in Elk Horn, Iowa, to be near my daughter and her family. And so that's their picture there, because I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. I think Iowa's lovely, and I can tell people have a passion for it. It's not my passion, but I'm here.
I'm Dia Nagaraj. I'm the Albert Ravenhold Curator of Danish American Culture here at the museum, and this was my contribution to our community storycloth quilt. So I decided to participate in it because as the curator, I had been thinking about and talking about and learning about and looking at Hmong storycloths. And so I really felt like I wanted to try my hand at their style of embroidery, and I also wanted to explore what it would be like to share my own personal family story through the medium. I had never embroidered before until I participated in this. So I'm very proud that there's anything recognizable on this storycloth at all. And what I learned is that the amount of time and effort that it takes to make those Hmong storycloths at the level and intricacy that Hmong women are able to achieve is incredible. I struggled so much. And then when I look at theirs, I mean, it's so detailed. But nonetheless, even though it's not quite to their level, I am still very proud of mine. And so I decided to start mine kind of up here and then use the river to kind of get people to follow the narrative and the timeline. So it starts with my parents getting married in New Delhi in India. So I did India Gate, which is sort of one of the iconic landmarks. And then I used a actual wedding photo of my parents to try and capture the outfits that they wore. So you've got my mom and my dad. After that, I decided I was done doing human figures because just doing them took me like 3 hours alone. And from there, my parents immigrated to Miami, Florida, where my dad did his PhD. And so I decided, because I was not born at that time, I took one of my favorite stories that my parents ever told me, which was that when my dad was learning how to drive, he accidentally hit reverse and ended up driving the car slightly up a tree. So I'm not sure if he was happy that I put that great moment into the storycloth, but it amused everybody else in my family. And then from there, I was born in Georgetown, Texas, and so I have my parents and little infant me on the bridge, which Georgetown is right outside of Austin, which is really known for all the bats coming out at night from under the bridge. So captured that. And then from there, my family moved to Vestal, New York, which is in upstate New York, just outside of Binghamton. And that's where we lived for several years. So I was pretty young, and my grandmother and I used to always go to the local cemetery to feed the ducks. So I captured that, and then as a kid, I would always go earthworm hunting and fossil hunting. I spent a lot of my formative years in Pittsburgh from 2001 until the year I graduated high school. And so for me, the most important thing was to capture the Roberto Clemente Bridge, partially because Roberto Clemente has always just been a hero of mine, but also because my family went to a lot of baseball games, and so we would always walk across the bridge to get to PNC Park. So it was kind of just a really important structure of my childhood.
and then Dippy the dinosaur that stands outside the Museum of Natural History, and the rubber duck that the city briefly held hostage because our sports teams were doing well while we had it. And then I went to undergrad in St. Louis, and so Thinker on a Rock sits on WashU's campus, and then the Arch is sort of the iconic St. Louis landmark. I then attended grad school in Glasgow, Scotland. So I put the Firth of Forth bridge, so this is the Forth Rail Bridge, which is the second longest cantilever bridge in the world. And it's one of my favorite bridges, second only to the Roberto Clemente Bridge. So it felt fitting that I incorporate it. And then, of course, Highland Cow. And Glasgow is really known for having a Duke of Wellington statue that keeps on getting vandalized when people put traffic cones on his head. So I decided to take the iconic traffic cone and put it on my Highland Cow. And then Nessie. And I did my master's in technical art history, where I got to mix historical pigments and do that sort of experimentation. So I put a little artist's palette. And from there, my next stop was here in Elk Horn. So I embroidered the museum. And so, yeah, I really tried to capture, how many years of history is that? Like 34, 35 years of history in my story cloth. And it was a really great learning experience and really fun to be part of this project and see everybody else's pieces and the different ways in which people share their story, as well as to learn more about the skill it takes to do these story cloths and the immense labor. They were already beautiful pieces, but I think I appreciate them even more after attempting it myself. So, yes, thank you.
Okay, my name is Connie, and I participated in putting the quilt together as far as a block. And why did I choose this block for my story quilt? Because I realized that I would have no story except for those who came before me. The immigrants who came to America. They came across the ocean, farmers, blacksmiths, teachers, and tailors. They came for the land, toiling as farmhands, working on railroads until they had enough money to buy their own acres. Honoring their past, they continued some of their ethnic customs, celebrations, and cuisines while they celebrated their new country and became proud, hardworking Americans. They established communities, built churches, and fought in wars. These adventuresome men and women faced the unknown so that their families and future generations could, through their own endeavors, also prosper. How indebted we are to those who gave us our todays and tomorrows. I became interested in genealogy when I first worked part-time at the museum, and we had volunteers who were doing genealogy in the late 1990s. So it's been real important to me to participate in this project.
Hi, I'm Karma Sorensen. I was born in Overgard in Kimmelton, Iowa, and I was born to two Danes that both immigrated from Denmark. So I'm a full-blooded Dane. My story is that when they wanted me to make a quilt block, I thought, well, I have to have something kind of fun. So I decided, since I'm doing a lot of embroidery, that I would embroider my block. I don't know how many did that, but I enjoy doing it, so that's what I decided to do with the block.
My husband and Howard and I have 5 children, and we have 7 grandchildren, and I think it's 16 great-grandchildren now. So that's our family, and we all love each other. We all get together and celebrate birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the holidays. So, and I said that I'm an avid quilter, and I enjoy doing a lot of different handwork. I love my country, state, and town, and I'm proud of being an American, and I enjoy everything that our town has done. The things that I could add to what was going on in towns, I always like to do too. So